guys. So, this is What's Good for Society of the Snow. This is a film that's on Netflix and it's about 2 hours and 25 minutes long. Now, this film is about a rugby team that was headed to Chile from Uruguay. And essentially, on October 1972, their plane crashes in the Andes Mountains. And from there, they have to try to survive in the mountains with the different conditions that are there. And so from there, you will question, like, how do they get out of this situation? Who survives? A little bit of everything. And I think as well, you will start to wonder, will you be engaged the entire time? You will be engaged the entire time. I think sometimes with films like this, you do start to wonder, you know, will there be points where it kind of lags? There will be points where it's not always going to be as engaging, but they try to make up for it in other ways where they have meaningful conversations with other characters, or they try to do things where it's lively or meaningful in other ways. It's not always going to be suspenseful in, you know, every which way, if that makes sense. You know, it's not always going to be an event here and there. I think what got me was one of the performances is when they were trying to get a radio working, and that was just it was groundbreaking. Like, you can really tell in that scenario and in that situation where they finally get news of what's kind of happening, where they get a radio signal and, you know, kind of hear what's transpiring there. That got me. And so that is where I was like, hopefully others are kind of watching this film. And I think as well, if you don't know, the director of The Impossible, if you've seen that film as well, he is, or they are the minds behind this one as well. Essentially, what was happening is when they were working on The Impossible, they were trying to buy the rights to the book talking about this situation, and they were able to get those rights. And also, in the process of making this movie, did a lot of interviewing with survivors and family members and getting the permission of, hey, can we tell this story and do everything? And so by 2021, that's where they were able, like, hey, you can make this movie, and Society of the Snow was announced to be made. I think the production, everything that was done, I think it's very good. And I'm also very curious. I know sometimes with biopics or things like this, things can be very different. So I am very curious. Is this almost, does this match, or are there things that are very different? So I'm very curious from the book. How does this relate? Is there something that could be very different? I'm sure it's very much very similar. Sure, maybe some things are different, whether it's a name change or something, but overall, I think telling the story and kind of sharing it, and especially too with how it's depicted and just showcasing it, I think it's very well done. The performances are fantastic. Visually, I think it's stunning. I highly recommend it. If you have the chance to watch it, if you were kind of scared to watch it, I very much recommend it. I will say there are maybe some things where it may be graphic. I will say that. There may be some things that are graphic for the situation in which, you know, they're in. But, you know, that's why they have it rated, and they share that and everything. So that is what I will say. If you've watched the movie, please feel free to leave your thoughts down below, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.